Yeah.
Now I'm live.
Okay.
Start sharing the chat. Okay, this thing still thinks I'm not live. I'm just, it's going to be fine.
There it is. There, it's working. It's working. Get a grip set. I thought she knew.
I didn't know. The amount of times I've closed and opened Streamlabs just in this. You were live at some point. Ezra, hey. Yeah, I was, and I was broadcasting to you live from a yucca fruit.
It's a different vegetable every time. It was a corn of cob.
Coming to you live from a mushroom in my front yard.
Mushroom Kingdom.
Right?
Honestly, Mario Galaxy.
That's very Ellery coded. Oh, it feels so good to be back. Yeah, thank you, what a TV. So yeah, okay. For those of you that weren't here in Layla's stream or our shared stream over on Vulgar Science, we're talking about luck today, which obviously is not on our side as we're just starting at 7:55 when this was supposed to start at 7:30. We had a power outage here yesterday because there was severe storms, so maybe that has something to do with it. Or maybe it's all luck. Maybe I've been cursed.
Just bad luck, lightning strike, something out of, I don't know, like Magic Mike. You know what I mean?
Magic Mike has lightning?
No, that's... No, wait. What's the... Like Mike. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's not the same thing. No.
There's a movie.
Oh, that's the Michael Jordan.
I think you're thinking Space Jam. But it is like... Okay, one second.
This is so us branded for anybody that's new here. Okay. This is what it's like all the time.
Yes.
Bow Wow finds MJ shoes. Yeah. Okay.
So this is what you're thinking of. Okay. So yeah, there's like the shoes get struck by lightning and a freak accident, and then he can like jump and like he joins a basketball team at the age of like 8. Again,
I'm familiar with it, but have not seen it. So I guess I have some reading to do, and by reading I mean viewing. Hi, Lovey Dovey, and welcome in. I don't know if that's a new one on your end, but I don't recognize
No, Bow Wow finds MJ's shoes. Exactly, yes. And Lil Bow Wow, bro. Whatever happened to Lil Bow Wow?
Where'd that guy go? Talk about bad luck.
There were so many like Lil rappers in the early 2000s that have just fallen off the face.
Lil Wayne, Lil Bow Wow, Lil Dicky.
Lil Wayne went to prison. Lil Jon still around. He was at the Democratic National Convention. Lil Romeo, that's who I'm thinking of. Thank you, Lovey Dovey.
I mean, Lil Kim, she still exists.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we were talking about science at one point. Layla was telling us about what a heuristic is.
Let's
heuristic
go back.
is a wonky... Oh, I can't type in that one. I forgot.
Yeah.
Heuristic.
As I was saying, so like a shortcut, and the example I was using is like, the conditioning and association we have with the sound of an ice cream truck and then associating it with ice cream. And these are mental shortcuts that we make. But, we are conditioned by our environment, and we were talking about how a lucky penny is a thing in culture, and the reference I somehow pulled out of my ass was the movie Grease, which I should not have been watching as a child, as we established.
Dickweed.
And, yes. Anyways, so, I mean, so we have, luck is something we talk about in culture. It's embedded in culture, but again, there's a lot of psychological concepts that like play into our perception of luck, and so how we perceive how to achieve luck, and then the results of luck, right? And the results of luck is often just like the effects of positive psychology, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I went down a whole tangent of narrative psychology that's got like a whole bunch of really interesting results that are kind of based on positive psychology, which if you want to give them a rundown of what positive psychology is, I don't know that I really know a tidy way to describe it other than it's kind of like the good vibes kind of toxicity of regular everyday life minus the toxicity. So
yeah, I mean, it's the hippy dippy researchers of the psychology community, I guess. But I mean, there were, for instance, there was like a documentary on like the psychology of happiness that was really popular in like the early 2010s. It's people talking about the effects of gratitude, like practicing gratitude and
Right.
like
Yeah.
journaling and these kinds of things. So positive psychology is like, how do we break out of these like negative thought patterns, essentially?
Right. So it's
Mm-hmm.
mainly it's a thing where you essentially just think positively and kind of manifest. That can't be like a legitimate arm of psychology, can it?
I mean, it's how to like it's the counter to negative psychology, right? So it's like, okay, if we're gonna go back to like our misinformation stream and everyone's like,
Mm-hmm.
big pharma, they want you to feel
Yeah.
bad so you'll pay money. And it's like, okay, but therapists are literally there to treat you. So what tactics are they using to
Mm-hmm.
like or even like a life coach, like the sort of like small incremental
Right.
steps to like make
Sure.
you just
Okay.
generally be more happy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lovey Dovey said, does the concept of luck exist in most cultures? And I would say the ones we're aware of, yes.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. I think many cultures have like lucky numbers associated with them.
hmm
Obviously, hilariously, last Friday was Friday the 13th, and now we have St. Patrick's Day. That's like
I
a
didn't
very
even
interesting
clock that.
juxtaposition. I didn't clock it until I was at work and we were talking about it. I was like, oh shit. But yeah.
Yeah, so Chinese culture and a couple of other East Asian cultures have a lot of number based luck beliefs, some of
Yes.
which actually are, I don't want to say data backed. Some of them, the data reflect what could be confirmatory correlations for that. So the way you say the word four, like the number four, in I believe it's Cantonese, Mandarin, and other kind of
Mm-hmm.
closely related languages sounds very close to the word for death, like the way that it's pronounced is very
Mm.
similar. So they've associated the number four with death, which is why the number eight is lucky, because it kind of negates that. It's like two fours
Oh, it
will
like
be,
doubles.
yeah, they'll cancel each other out or something like that. But there's some spurious, I will say, but there is
Mm-hmm.
existing data that support that there are like on a graph of the days of the month, if you aggregate that on the fourth, that there's significantly more emergency room visits or something to that effect.
Oh,
I don't have
interesting.
my notes, so I can't tell you the exact thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, spurious research, and even if it is true, like let's say it's true, like that's pretty inarguable data. Something like car accidents reported that day to the
Yeah.
police, or emergency room visits. That's, you can't say that that's not true unless you don't believe that they're reporting accurately. But you could imagine a world in which if you're having a bad day and you wake up and you realize, oh no, it's also the fourth, and that's deeply ingrained in your cultural belief system,
Mm-hmm.
that that's an unlucky thing, that you might be driving like shaking like a leaf, or you might be distracted thinking about,
Yeah.
ruminating, that sort of thing, and that might
Or
actually
yeah,
be the
you just
cause
like
of the incidents.
wake up on the wrong side of the bed kind of energy, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that it's hard. It becomes very chicken egg to be like, oh, this thing is lucky because every time I wear it, I win my game. So I always wear my lucky socks. But aren't you always wearing them when you lose too? Like it's a confirmatory bias where
Yes.
you
Yeah,
select
yeah, yeah.
things that support what you believe and discount the things that
Mm-hmm.
don't align.
Yeah. Sorry, before I have another point about sort of like the lucky sock thing, but I
Yes,
just
yes,
wanted to
yes.
bring up the whole like Mandarin or Cantonese pronunciation thing. Did you see all of like the Draco Malfoy Happy New Year content that was like coming up fast, like when the new Lunar New Year was happening? Okay,
No.
I gotta show you.
Draco
So
Malfoy of Harry
yeah, yeah,
Potter,
yeah. Yes. So
played by
apparently,
Tom Felton?
yes. So apparently, um, so apparently the way that you say Draco Malfoy in I want to say it is Mandarin has it essentially is like considered a lucky icon for the year of the horse due to like a transliteration. Oh, I need to share my screen with you as well. Give me 2 seconds here.
Please do. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
deeply
yeah. There we
invested
go.
in
There
this
you go.
already. Hold on, I have to
There you
look
go,
at my
Queen.
different
Yeah.
screens.
So like a bunch of Lunar New Year parties in China just had Draco Malfoy plastered all over them because it was it has I forget exactly. It's like like a they use the word transliteration. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So because the phonetic way that you would say Malfoy in Mandarin sounds
Yes.
similar to the way that you would say horse and fortune.
Horse fortune.
I love
Isn't
that.
that isn't that so funny and so interesting? Anyway, that's just like
Genuinely. Yeah, genuinely.
another hilarious like luck and good fortune thing.
And I mean,
But
I kind of like that for a cultural moment to kind of bandwagon something that has whimsy, you know? Like, and I'm sure it's maybe not
yes,
whimsical to them, and maybe that's a little bit condescending and shitty of me to say, but I like that is the type of thing that gets kind of like brought into the milieu of day-to-day
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
existence rather
I
than
mean, it went viral on social media because the rest of the world was like, "This is whimsical and hilarious, and we love
yes.
this." So absolutely.
Yeah.
But sorry, going back to like the dirty socks thing.
Yeah.
I was so surprised to see how much research is done on like superstitions, like
Yeah.
around sports, like how, and that is a large body of research is how
Mhm.
athletes like interact with superstitions and their performance and that kind of stuff and how like it affects their performance.
Yeah. Well, because like lots of people will do little like rituals, like they'll shuffle their
Yes.
feet and then like brush one shoulder. There was like a famous baseball player, I believe, that had like some sort of like thing that he did and he had like tap the
Hmm.
bat or something like that. And it's not that those things aren't associated with the performance. I think it's part of a locking in sort of like mental kind of preparation that you're doing, kind of like studying for a test in a way,
Yeah.
right? You're kind of getting yourself primed is the, phrase that we would use in lots of our psychology, which for those that are outside of the discipline, you can essentially it's almost subliminal messaging in a way. You can use images and text in context or discussion and prime
Hmm.
someone to be more apt to act a certain way or respond in a certain way to a question, and kind of like lead them in a certain direction, which is very
Yeah.
interesting when you talk about criminal psychology and leading the witness, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's adding like a previous context essentially to like
Yeah.
sort of change how somebody perceives something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was gonna say something else, and
Sorry.
I'm blanking. No, 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 you're
You were
good.
talking about socks, athlete socks and stuff.
Oh, yes, yeah. I definitely think that they're like, I don't know if I've seen this in like pop culture but like people not showering for like an entire season, like sports season, which seems truly disgusting for like professional athletes, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I do think that that is like a thing that I have heard of before as well, which is so crazy.
Yeah, I don't know where that would come from. Like you don't want to wash off the luck? Is that
Yes.
the rationale
Yeah,
is you don't want to wash off
I
the
think
luck?
so. Like if you're on a winning streak, maybe, yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure. Why not?
IDK. I don't know, man.
I've never been much of a sporty gal, so I wouldn't know. But if anyone
Yeah.
is an athlete and is in chat and wants to share any of their,
Hmm.
personal stuff, when you were in T-ball, you used to go in and like watch Sesame Street right before. Carb loading is a superstition? Is a hot take. I get it.
That's a super hot take. You should I need more elaboration on that, honestly. But
Yeah.
no, I feel like so some of the stuff that I like saw was so it's like self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's like again, you think something's going to happen, therefore it happens.
Yeah.
Pattern recognition bias, which we already talked about. Um and performance confidence, which plays obviously into self-fulfilling prophecy, and then anxiety reduction, which I think thought was really interesting and came up
Absolutely.
a lot, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's a lot of uncertainty or you have like less control over a situation, wanting to believe that you have like, I don't know, your good luck charm with you is going to have like a positive effect on
Mm.
your performance in an interview or whatever. Some of the examples we provided would concept based more on following whatever distinct led to the
Well, so I think with what Adibi is saying here, the concept being based more around whatever pattern led to the desired result is the false heuristic, to use the nomenclature that we were saying earlier, that thinks that anything that's antecedent or before something must have led to the thing that follows it, which just simply can't be true for everything other than, you know, your own self-governance, I suppose. But that is the thing, is to believe that, oh, this slot machine paid out because I took a sip right before, cleared my throat, and then I actually spun the thing. I know you don't do it with a lever anymore, but I pressed the button with my left hand instead of my right hand. When really that just so happens to be what you did before. And there are studies using pigeons, actually, where they develop what's called superstitious behavior. So they put pigeons...
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to know about this.
It's a really old study. There's lots of holes in it, but it's a pretty famous study. So you put pigeons in an operant chamber, and they can go and peck a little hole. If they want, there's 2 holes... Hoon does not
Hi,
like us
Hoonie.
talking about pigeons. She said,
not happy.
Not happening today. So they put them in a place with a whole bunch of things that we would call manipulanda. So things that they can manipulate. It could be a lever. It could be, in this case, it's a nose poke hole so they can peck their little beak. And there's a little slot for them to receive like a seed or some sort of food reward in any event. And what happens is the pigeons will go, I think everything just froze. Is it frozen for you? You're frozen. Oh no.
You're fine for me.
Okay,
Everything,
well then we'll just carry on. I'm just going to pretend like there's no tech issues whatsoever. So in this particular study, though there are things they can do, none of that has any bearing whatsoever on whether or not they'll actually get the reward. The reward is just given on a random schedule, regardless of what they're doing. But what they noticed is the pigeons would develop their own kind of idiosyncratic little routines that they thought led to this, because that just so happened to be what was happening when the seed was getting delivered. So if they went and pecked it, and that just so happens to coincidentally have preceded them getting the delivery of the thing, they'll be like, and the reward was more than they expected. So that's what the reward prediction error people would say is happening, is the dopamine spiked, because it's saying, whoa, we just pecked a thing. We thought maybe there was food in there, but there's food over here. That's great. Woo. And like your brain would learn for that. So, but they would learn different patterns, and it would be idiosyncratic to each of the pigeons. And some of that's been replicated to some degree in rodent research, but it's, of course, a lot more nuanced than that. But they call it superstitious behavior.
That is really fucking funny, honestly. Yeah. But I feel like it reminds, like, going back a few streams, it reminds me of sort of like this like anecdotal evidence that we were like talking about with, which like leads to misinformation, where it's like, this thing happened to me. And it's like, it has actually nothing to do with like the patterns, the life patterns at play, but it just,
that's why scientists need to do science, because we know how to be like correlation, not causation. Because there's like the famous, I think there's a whole website that's just spuriouscorrelations.com or something like that. And the most famous one that I ever heard about was like in the early parts of my training. It used to be that there was a perfect 1-to-1 correlation between like the number of drowning deaths in pools in like somewhere Wisconsin and whether or not a Nicolas Cage movie had been released that summer. And
I'm literally typing Nicolas Cage. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to screen share with you, but I'm literally typing Nicolas Cage in because this is the one that I know as well.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. I love this.
Yes. Okay.
Amazing. Sweetie, am I
so okay for
on my stream?
You just came back.
Oh, okay, good.
So this one is showing number of movies Nicolas Cage has appeared in and the number of transportation security screeners in North Dakota, which is such a random.
Well, the one on the third right is the drowning. People of drowning that fall into a pool by Nicolas Cage correlates with the number of films. Yes. Sorry. Clearly, Mr. Cage is up to something suspicious.
Yes, clearly. Must be, obviously.
I mean, realistically, if you didn't know any better, you could very much concoct well, he's into the occult. He likes, ravens and has a pet bat. So maybe he's cursing the children, or, you could get there pretty easily if you didn't know.
Yeah, well, he's responsible for the drownings as well as the increase in cheese consumption. So it's all related. It's all related. Aliens,
or lizard people, or the Illuminati, all up for grabs. What a DB says, for instance, when I played baseball, I'd tap home plate on both sides first, and it would help me get into muscle memory instead of hyperfixating. Absolutely. I think that's 100% what we were talking about, is a anxiety management mechanism, like what you were saying. And then what else? You said something about maybe focus? I can't remember when you were talking about the anxiety management stuff.
Oh, it also is... You then are you're going to self-fulfilling prophecy, essentially.
Right,
you think it's going to work, and therefore it will. So
superstitious pigeons and gambling rats. Yeah, people get paid. Actually, my Tristan, who you've met? Question mark.
Oh, you've told me many things about Tristan. I've just never actually met Tristan.
So my friend Tristan, actually, he did his work at one of the famous gambling addiction research labs at University of British Columbia, where they conceived of the rat gambling task, which is based on the
pigeon gambling
human gambling task.
Oh yes, okay.
And they have essentially a little, it has lights and sounds and stuff like that. They make it as sensorily tantalizing as what would happen in a
true casino energy. Oh, that's so interesting.
It's not the exact same, because rats don't respond to the same type of stimuli. If you showed them a stack of coins, that wouldn't make them think anything, because they don't have currency that we're aware of, at least. But
giant golden pyramid doesn't do anything for them.
All rats actually want to stay at the Luxor. I've checked. Mr. Cage is up to something suspicious. He has a pet bat. I don't think he actually has a pet bat, but he did have a weird pet of some kind. I can't recall what. It might have been a snake or some sort of monitor
Gotta go
lizard.
look him up. We'll go find
Bones are their money.
Nicolas Cage exotic pet. It's a hedgehog. Is
it? Or you're just saying
cobras? That? No, I'm joking. Cobras, two-headed snake, a pet octopus, and a what is referred to as a black dragon monitor lizard. Interesting.
Oh, I was right about the monitor lizard. Let's go with her Nicolas Cage. All right. That was a deep pull. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Nick Cage trivia.
Right. So if anyone's seen The Rescuers Down Under, the follow-up to the movie The Rescuers, it features little mice in a little model UN, a mouse UN. Joanna, who eats the eggs of McLeach, she's a monitor lizard. So that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I always thought I thought she was a Komodo dragon or something like that. I don't think I had the concept of what
monitor
that
lizard. My favorite thing is these are not Joanna eggs, and she gets her little hand slammed.
Rescuers Down Under Joanna's coming up. Yeah, she's so scary. I think I actually
scary. I love Joanna. I want to get a Joanna tattoo. I love Joanna so much.
Honestly, The Rescuers Down Under, as a child, I think I was genuinely afraid of both of those movies, because the gators from the first one are very scary.
Snatchy.
And Joanna's kind of kooky, but she's also low-key kind of scary.
There's when she gets all weird and goes ah! That's not great. Yeah. But I also feel I see myself in Joanna. I identify with Joanna. Am I Joanna? Joanna is me.
What aspect exactly do you identify with? That's what I need to know.
I think it's a little bit the mischief making. I don't know. I don't think I have the setup to share like the little clip of her when she snatches the eggs from McLeach.
Oh yeah, so she does like yes, yeah.
Like he'll be like, he's thinking about like how to trap the boy or whatever. And he's got like a dozen eggs in a little like kind of almost tool chest looking thing. And then
she goes behind him.
Yeah, and then he'll be like, "Are you stealing my eggs?" And she's like, "What?" And then he'll be like talking and spacing out again until he'll just be like, "What?" And like snatch an egg. It's so good.
This
is
just great. Literally the clip right here.
It will be the clip. There is only one clip, and that's it. I should have asked better questions. What do you mean?
Wait for this.
Oh, because you're.
Oh, this is not.
Me?
I got it. I'm sorry. I'm not sharing my screen.
Thinking of her opening the locks with her tail creeped me out. That wasn't her though. That was the
umbrella lizard.
Yeah, it was the fringed lizard. The one that goes like, "This is this and that is that." And
child tax credit.
Oh, child tax credit.
File now.
Do I have to listen to this? Like, yeah, I can't even turn the sound off.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm trying.
Try harder. No, I'm kidding. I love you.
You have it. Yeah, here we go. Let's go. She's scary.
Wait, I'm not in the right screen. Where are you? Oh. Okay, yeah, that's scary. No, but look at her.
Where's the eggs? The egg stealing.
There it is.
Here it is.
Look at her. She's perfect in every way.
Did you take one of my eggs? Go in your mouth. These are not
the tongue.
Joanna eggs.
The fact that you're able to quote that so impeccably is, these are not Joanna eggs.
You know, crazy. I'm not going to lie. If that clip comes up anywhere on my feed at any given time, she's going on. Like I'm clicking in. I'm locked down. Like it's a classic for me. Hoon didn't like me talking about another pet that way. She didn't care for that. She went off.
She said, "These are in fact Joanna eggs."
She said, "I am Joanna. They are my eggs. Give me my eggs." Yeah. Anyways, National Treasure 3 eating cheese and drowning babies. Jesus, that would a dark turn for the National Treasure series. But yeah.
Her eyes are terrifying. I completely agree. Yeah, I was so sorry. Going back to like luck stuff. One of the things we talked about that I thought was really interesting is like the anxiety coping. Like it is truly like believing in luck, believing in superstition is like, you know, we might not be able to stop being afraid of Joanna's eyes, but we can at least cope with the anxiety around those things by possibly, I don't know, believing in like whatever it is, happy ending, superstition, like not that kind of happy ending, but like superstition and luck and these kinds of things. And I think what was super interesting that I feel like just like researching luck in it, like within a vacuum is a little bit difficult. Yeah. How is Hoon? Is Hoon okay?
She's getting a scratch. I can see her moving in the back. She's laid down now. She's being good.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of cultural superstitions. Like the evil eye superstition is through so many cultures. Like it goes from Italian to most of the Southern America's countries. It's everywhere.
Pretty much a lot of the Mediterranean does like evil eye.
Yeah, even Southeast Asia with the hamsa, like the hand with the eye. That's what it's called, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think it comes from a similar kind of root thing where there's like some sort of belief about envy, casting an eye of envy on something and it's stealing some sort of part of your essence. Sorry if I'm not familiar with that. And if anybody knows what they're talking about wants to
if anyone has more info.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I was looking into the research about particularly cultural superstitions and stuff like that, it also has a little bit to do, from what I understand, with kind of it's safer to do the ritual that will for things that prevent you from harm. Like, you know, if I say something, I go like knock on wood if I say something bad might happen. Like, you know, I hope our plane doesn't fall out of the sky kind of thing, knock on wood, or our plane won't fall out of the sky. If you're like tempting fate, I guess that's when you do it, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody knows what I'm talking about. People say that the effort to do that is easier. It's easier to just do it than the mental labor of reminding yourself that that likely has nothing to do with it, and wrestling that down regularly to like remind yourself on a regular, you know, because like if it was something about like, you know, a plane, you might be stuck in a plane to Australia for 14 hours and you're sitting there thinking the entire time, I didn't knock on wood, I could have just easily knocked on wood. So it circles back a little bit around to the anxiety mechanism, but it's also just a why wouldn't I if it's that easy? Like, oh, I don't have to walk under ladders. That's a pretty easy thing to avoid. So, you know, may as well just do it.
So, sorry, speaking of knocking on wood, I actually saw this amazing clip, and I think I can actually, I'll play it for you as well, but Jinx Monsoon was on a podcast recently, and was talking about, like, they're talking about superstitions, and
she's
I feel
really
like
witchy, right?
I think so, yeah.
She like walks around with a pocket full of crystals, I'm pretty sure.
So, well, she also walks around with a piece of fucking bark in her pocket because she has a preoccupation.
And her name is Jinx.
Yes, preoccupation with it being actual wood, and she apparently used to run out like of cars and stuff to knock on a tree, and so just she just pulls a piece of literal wood out of her pocket. And I am inspired. I'm gonna start doing that, I think, to just constantly have a piece of wood to knock on.
Sure. You know what? Whatever gets you through the day, I think, is what I will get on board with.
That's going to be my anxiety coping mechanism because
the therapy ain't working. Am I right? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's trying times, man. I mean, this was something I also looked up, was that like people who often believe in luck and superstition are more likely to be disenfranchised because they have more anxiety and they need more coping mechanisms. And that, like, it was particularly interesting that like people who are, you know, really obsessed with like winning the lottery and who will like do their tickets often don't come from like significant income, right?
Absolutely.
Like, when was the last time you heard about somebody like who was playing the lottery and winning the lottery who was like already, you know, like super
rich? Well, I guess
rich,
why
right?
would you, right? I don't know.
That's fair. But
when I was looking into this, I again was listening to a podcast in this case where they were talking about this, and particularly with that sort of example about like the socioeconomic stuff and like the privilege that comes with certain like kind of views of luck and superstition. It was about the idea of an internal versus external locus of control, which is basically, Layla knows, but for the rest of us, it's whether or not you think that the things that happen in your life are because of your own personal agency or forces outside of your control, whatever that might be, fate. Like, it doesn't really matter whether it's true or not, but if you have the belief that you are internally driving what's going on with you, you're much less likely to believe in superstition, to believe in luck, and to believe in supernatural phenomena, because you think that you have an identity that reflects you having agency and the ability to overcome, you know, overcome adversity and stuff like that by virtue of your own efforts rather than, you know, some worldly forces. But you could see how if you were from a historically, you know, non-supported group, if you were, you know, BIPOC, if you're LGBTQ, whatever it is, that frankly, a lot of stuff is outside of the control of these individuals. So it's easy to think that you have bad luck. And frankly, you might be a little bit being gaslit into thinking that it has something to do with luck when it isn't like socioeconomic, you know, structural inequality kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
literally,
I can see why there would be a stratification where people of, you know, certain cultural groups and socioeconomic statuses might think these things more than others. I don't know if that's true, but I could definitely, you know, see that.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like, especially when it came to like the lottery, for instance, it's this like a fixation. So like let's start with availability heuristic if we're going to go
Yes.
back to smart rules. So like you don't hear about people like losing the lottery or how often
Yes.
people don't, like, you hear about people winning the lottery and you're like, that
Yeah.
could be me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so you hear about it in the news or you hear about it like on, I don't know, like someone
Mhm.
wins the, like, I don't, the Spider-Man movie or some bullshit like that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then also, so okay, you get interested in this, eventually you also, there's a bit of like a quick fix, right? You
Mhm.
become sort of fixated on this becoming the only solution to your problems, especially if you
Right.
have, you know, like many people, many millennials, etc., have significant debt from school, and they're like, you know, there's
Mhm.
this idea of like, oh, it's going to take me years and years and years to dig myself out of this debt. Well, alternatively, I could win the lottery and fix my problems tomorrow. So there's like,
Never
let
thought
me
of
just
that
like play.
strategy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for
could be
it.
great.
No, I'm
Could
kidding.
be great.
Yeah.
And then also there's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy, right? So you've, for instance, you played
Absolutely.
the same numbers day after day, year after year, and you know,
Yeah.
hoping that you're like, eventually these numbers will like come up, like the odds
Right.
are in my favor.
Yeah.
Funny story about that. When I
It's
was a
just wrong.
kid,
Yeah. Anyways.
what? Yeah, I know, yes. But when I was a kid, my grandmother called my family one day and ended up saying like she had like played these numbers for like years, and then like the one time she was like too busy to like go like get her lottery numbers, they came up,
All
and
of them?
I honestly don't remember the details of it, but she was so sad about it. Like she was crying on the phone
That would
telling
be
my mom that like,
wildly
yes,
unlikely. So
I know.
I think also the more unlikely something is, the more it seems like there has to be some sort of justification for such an occurrence to happen, which in
Mm-hmm.
absence of any actual true explanation, it's easy to kind of conjure up this
God's will.
supernatural kind
Yes,
of
yes, yeah.
luck, superstition, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But the desire of human beings to explain the unexplainable
Well, to
is,
feel like you have control over a situation,
yeah,
right? Yes.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. That's interesting. It's funny when vividly remember the first time that I learned that about randomness and probabilities, and that the reason that if you flip a coin a bunch of times and it goes heads, 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 it isn't due to flip to tails, is like the first time I learned that that isn't true. It blew my fucking mind because I was like, no, it's gotta. But it's
Sorry, it's
because,
not due. What?
like, you know, when people talk about a slot machine, like, oh, it hasn't paid out in a while, so it's more likely to pay out with each
Uh,
subsequent time that it doesn't pay out. The next
yeah.
instance of the opposite of what's been happening over and over again becomes more and more likely. That's what people think, but it just statistically is not true. Like, the mathematicians have ran the numbers and probabilities over and over and over again. And basically, each random event is its own individual random event that's completely independent from all other random events, except for in certain types of slot machines, but they've all but gotten rid of those as far as I'm
Yeah.
aware. But they want you to think that you know, slot
Interesting.
machines and stuff like that. Obviously coins don't care, but hello, old
By
man
the way,
Felonius.
yes. He wished you a happy affiliate anniversary.
Thank you very much. You're an old school crew member, so thank you for being
Yes,
here
yeah.
after the hiatus as well. Welcome in.
Yeah. All of our pre-hiatus followers know the chaos that we were
Yeah.
2 years ago. Pre-doctoral.
Pre-doctoral. Does that mean you're old? I mean, I'm certainly older than I was. I mean, I guess that's fundamentally just true.
That's
What's
just
the cutoff for
yeah.
old? I don't know.
Yeah. What is
100%. Hey. What is the what?
that's the function of the passage of time, you know.
I mean,
You were older than you were.
Yeah. Yeah, in theory. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel younger at heart with each passing day in a lot of ways, you know? But
Sorry, I'm trying to I'm going through my notes and just looking for some more
yeah, I'm trying to
really
remember
interesting.
my notes.
Yeah.
I guess I
Oh
could
yeah,
try
okay.
and get
So
them on this
white
computer.
sign, by the way, what the fallacy that you were referring to was the gambler's fallacy as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if we explained what like a sunk cost fallacy is. I actually did not learn what the sunk cost fallacy was until I was like in grad school. So
Yeah,
like,
Jeff talks about it a lot, right?
I feel like it comes up a lot when we talk to, but essentially it's, and this is something I think a lot of us have to combat on like a daily, some, you know, like a life basis, is like, is all of like the effort or time investment or whatever it is that I've put in up to this point worth it to me to then like spend more time, an unpredictable amount of time on like in the future doing this thing, or the amount of investment in this time. So like sunk cost often can refer to like, you know, like real estate investment, like monetary investments. Often I feel like if you like go to an amusement park and you're like waiting in line for something, you're like, is it worth it to me? I've already waited an hour in this line.
They leverage that. They do that on purpose. 100%.
Yeah. Is it worth it to me to wait another hour? And it's like, well, that time is now gone. You've lost that time. So like accounting for that is actually, it's a fallacy essentially.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of applicability to just like random shit in everyday life.
It's so difficult to like not fall victim to it, and in some ways it's like, as much as it's fallacious, that can't be the right way to say that.
Salacious?
No, to say something is a fallacy, you know, to like,
you know, we'll do a little Google. I think the pronunciation is right. The spelling is different than you're thinking of it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, logically unsound, false assumptions. Here, I'll share. I keep forgetting to share my screen with you as well.
Fallacious, not fallacious.
Fallacious.
Fallacious. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with fallacious.
This is definitely a homophone for another word that we will not talk about, but you know.
Fallacious? No, not even that one. That's a different one that I was thinking. They're related though. Fa la 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 la. Oh dear. We've entered true vulgar science chaos.
Yes, just absolutely.
I can't even remember what we were actually talking about.
I don't remember it. No. So anyway, sorry. So some of the elements, we were talking a little bit about like superstitions, and I think one of the things that I was like looking at, I feel like superstitions have like again, in the same way that luck has like multiple aspects that play into it, like so do superstitions. And one of the aspects is like magical thinking. And I was like, I think this is one of the few things, because obviously if you like deeply believe in superstitions, like, you know, OCD is literally a disorder about like believing in superstitions. You're like, if I don't go like knock on this wall 3 times, like my mom's gonna die, you know, that type of thing. And then you go and do it like multiple times. So, I mean, yes, it definitely can become disordered very quickly, but the magical thinking aspect, I think, was the only aspect that I was like, this actually like inherently in a vacuum is like not that bad, because it's just sort of like having like whimsy about the way things are, and like essentially believing in magic. But I think when it can cross into, for instance, like, you know, going back to, again, our wellness grifting, our stream,
our famous
like
stream,
believe in the power of crystals, for instance, is like magical thinking. And I don't think there's inherently anything wrong in believing in like crystal's ability to heal or whatever vibes. But it's like when you start to like buy the $350 obelisk, like crystal obelisk, to go in your living room to like
caressing lavender and amethyst right now. We do have amethyst in the house. Is the amethyst in the room with you right now? Yes, it is.
I mean, you also just have always loved rocks. Like there have been.
That's true. I do Jones for the stone.
You do love a rock collection. And there have been many instances where you have.
There's a rock collection sitting on this shelf. This shelf.
A shelf.
Right there. This one. I can't point very well in the mirrored thing, but I got some crystals. I don't believe that they do much of anything other than what you believe that they do, which placebo effect is kind of a superstition in a way. You know what I mean? Like, if you, there's an
it has elements.
expectancy,
Self-fulfilling
effect.
prophecy. Yes.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like, there's the classic studies that lots of pop psychology reports and stuff like that, where it says, like, there's the study where they gave kids a bunch of glasses that were just, plain glass, and they saw if their performance was better, and if the teachers thought that their performance was better in absence of knowing that some of the glasses were fake, and they treated them differently. Their performance was different because there is this heuristic that glasses mean smart. In this culture, at least. But hello, welcome in, Bill Nye the Memer Guy. Love the screen name, Hydrogen Iodine.
I know.
I
know. That. I saw that. I love that very much. That's really cute.
That's a nice science joke. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. You know, at one point, somebody, I remember, I forget what it was. Like, I was in university, and somebody, when they were, I was a yes or no question. They responded sodium. Like, they wrote out sodium, and I was like, what?
Nah.
And then they were like, nah. And I was like, you literally made that so complicated.
If you like the name, you'll love the profile photo. I don't know if I'm being baited right now into looking at something that I shouldn't look at. I have concern for it. But I hope that it's wait, you don't get it? Just Bill Nye's O face? Oh, okay. Well, you know, you don't get it. So hydrogen, iodine, those are the letters.
It's high.
Hi.
Yeah, high.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. It's safe for work. Get a Grip has checked. It's safe for work. Do you want to see what it is and share?
I am trying to find it. Bill Nye, stop the rock. That's not the same thing. Bill, okay, can I just click on the profile? Will it take me to?
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, got it. It's an actual just photo of Bill Nye the Science Guy. He does have his tongue out, which is somewhat salacious. So I mean,
somewhat fallacious.
Keep it.
Sorry.
I mean, that works on so many levels.
It does. It really does.
I love that. Yeah. So I guess welcome in. You're now a star of our stream. So
yeah,
you know, you're welcome for your launch into your new career as a famous streamer. Unless you're already a famous streamer.
The cat with the tongue sticking out, moving his head back and forth meme. Oh yes, like the coughing.
Oh man,
is that my favorite one?
Salacious William. Oh boy. Oh man, Felonious, you just get me. It's so easy to just fall into like a straight up tangent that I never leave in this stream.
I mean,
with you. And I love it.
Yeah. No, I feel like we riff off each other. Like it's like improv class. It's like yes and
yeah. It also truly just is reflective of our friendship. Like not that there aren't less boisterous moments in our lives, but honestly most of the time it is a little bit this kind of like silly and verbose at the same time. So yeah. Greetings from Elderly Photo Piadini. Ciao.
Hi, welcome. Ciao.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao. I think you just say it. I don't know. Anyways, welcome in. If you're a first timer, we're talking about luck. We're talking about luck
because
superstition.
Today is St. Patrick's Day, which I think it's also a thing in Ireland. I feel like it's almost a bigger thing in the US at this point. It's been co-opted.
Is it a thing in Italy? I just government named him. Oh, you're talking about what a DB saying William Sanford Nye. Not about me talking about Photopini's Photopini. I don't know what I was saying. Anyways, welcome, friend. Yeah, do they have St. Patrick's Day in other places in Europe? Like I know in like the more
find out.
I randomly finally had a chance.
Isn't that like a Bill Nye?
Aw.
What's a Bill Nye expression? Does he say, let's go find out?
Rules!
Okay, oh shit.
I'm so
That was
sorry.
so loud. That was so loud.
I was trying to make a man voice. Did that not come out across? And Felicianing. Bill.
Where
Bill
St.
Nye the
Patrick's
Science Guy. Science rules. It's mostly a British Islands thing, I believe. Yeah, well, and Irish Americans
Commonwealth
have co-opted it. Yeah, it's a Commonwealth and related.
that tracks.
Mostly used it as an excuse to drink in high school. Well, here we carry on our high school traditions well into adulthood and then have parades about them, apparently.
Yeah. I think when we were at our previous institution in Montreal, like the school was derived from like a Scottish man, and so they would like do a run of the gingers. Like they would literally, that was like a tradition. Did you never see that?
No.
So on St. Patrick's Day on McTavish Street, they would just have like a race, and it was anybody who was like a redheaded person or AKA ginger could just go and like participate in the race. I don't know if that was a Montreal thing or a McGill thing, but
the run of the gingers. I mean, okay, let them have their day. I feel like they get a lot of shit from other folks. So
I mean, they just like sunburn on site. They like, they don't have any makeup in their skin tone. Like they deserve something.
Milky white porcelain
Absolutely.
skin, burn in the sun.
Shut the fuck up.
Inexplicable allure.
Yeah, just we should ask Ellery. Yeah. Ellery would know the answer.
We should ask Ellery. Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about luck and superstition. We were talking about probability, I believe, for a little bit, is the most recent thing that we weren't off on a tangent away from.
Was talking a little bit about like probability, magical thinking, and superstition.
Yes, magical thinking. Yes.
Yeah. One of the things that I like to read occasionally. I read some books here and there.
Sure.
Anyways, so when I was in high school, I took this class called AP Human Geography, and we were asked to read a book, or at least excerpts from a book, by Marvin Harris called Cows, Pigs, Wars, and Witches. And so it's a kind of about how things develop into
Wars and Witches. Okay, first of all, color me interested, because that all sounds delightful. I love cows, I love pigs, I love anything. So like
sorry, I'll also show you. I keep forgetting. I have to share my screen with you.
Share, please. And I have to switch screens because it doesn't go on mine. So anybody that's on mine, go on Vulgar Science 2. Follow Vulgar Science, please, if you're interested, so you can see what we're looking at. Cows, pigs, and witches. The riddles.
And so it talks about how things become cultural superstitions, right? So we talk about witches, like why are black cats considered, why are black cats associated with witches? Why are they considered bad luck? Right. This all is like goes back to the plague. Yeah. And so the plague was it came from fleas, which were on rats, right? And then obviously these fleas and these rats bit people, and they developed the plague and they spread the plague. But older women, or just like women living alone who had cats, these cats would like hunt rats. And it was common practice for like places of, like, I don't know, the rat catcher cats is like a thing that you hear about in like medieval times. Like castles would employ them, etc. They didn't get wages. They just, I guess, got food and housing. But they would, like, women that would have cats would not catch the plague, and then they were blamed for being witches. So this is how like cats, and black cats specifically, came to be associated.
So it's sexism,
witches, of course.
It's misogyny. It's either misogyny or
capitalism.
Always
patriarchy or capitalism.
Love that.
Pick your poison, always. And then this also talks about, really interesting when we talk about like cows and pigs. So it talks about why like Judaism and Islam, which were derived from this like desert region in, obviously, which is now like the Israel-Palestine area, but we'll say like Mesopotamia.
Sure.
And it was economically inviable due to sort of the climate in that region to raise pigs for slaughter. So like cows were more common, goat, lamb, obviously as
Yeah.
well. But because it was so economically inviable, it almost became taboo. And
Right.
that taboo actually became part of the cultural aspects that influenced the
Like
religion. And so this,
halal
I mean,
and kosher and stuff, right?
halal and kosher, exactly. So, I
Wow.
mean, you don't have to take that as fact per se, but that is part of sort of the
Supposed cultural origins of
yes.
things. Yeah.
And so there's another example of this that I was reading about. There's a book called by Jonathan Haidt. Anyways, he used to be a professor at University of Virginia.
Okay.
Um, what was it called? It's Why Good People Disagree, something. The Righteous Mind is the name of the book. But essentially, one of the examples that he gives about how cultural norms can kind of become very ideological. And so all my Americans in the chat are about to be like, this is like, they're about to realize what I'm talking about. But he gives an example of a woman who has like an old American flag, and she's like, oh well, I need some rags for washing them. So she tears up this American flag and uses it for rags. And inherently, it's a piece of cloth. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with using this, but especially in the U.S., that's a cultural symbol,
Yeah.
and it's extreme. It's you know. Idolized, it's iconography that has gone to a certain place that it's almost religious, our perception of this flag, right? We say hello to the flag every morning in school, we pledge allegiance to the flag, etc. So I think most people who are American who would hear that story would have like a visceral reaction.
Aren't you not
like,
supposed
what?
to let the thing touch the floor? Which is
Yes,
very
you're not
much
even
like,
supposed to. Exactly.
so
You're
the
not
flag
even
can't
supposed to let
touch
it.
the floor. Well,
Yeah, so I actually in elementary school, like they pick different people every day to like put the flag up on the flagpole and like take it down and stuff.
Yeah.
And part of this whole
That's
process
a lot
that you
of
learned is that
rigmarole for day to day. Like why we
anyway.
doing that? Honey, come here. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so I mean, we were not allowed to let it touch the ground. There's like sort of all of that. There's all of this. I'm trying to like come up with the word. Idolatry is not the word I want to use, but like there's a lot of symbolism and importance around this,
reverence and whatnot.
Reverence, I think, is the word. And so it becomes almost, this cultural norm becomes sort of religious in a way.
Right.
And so like superstitions kind of become that as well, right? Like cultural superstitions can turn into faith-based practices in at a personal level and then also at a cultural level.
Yeah, totally. One of the books that I was looking at for my research talks about this like pattern detection, this phenomena where humans are predisposed to detect patterns even in completely random data. So like the phenomena of like finding if you look on ceilings that have the little like stucco stuff, that's very much like what a lot of us would have been raised with, and you can like see a little face or something like that, or you look at a wood grain and you see the outline of a dog, or anything like that, or even looking at clouds and seeing shapes. That ability to do that is known as apophilia, I believe. Let me make sure. Apophenia. So they hypothesized early on, this is like in the 1960s, that illusory correlations where unrelated events are perceived as connected or unrelated things are perceived as connected kind of supported this kind of predictive framework that's kind of engenders superstitious beliefs and things about luck and whether or not something is actually like a ritual you do before sports, like what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So salt. Some things are so ingrained in day-to-day things you even forget it comes from a place of superstition. Not really crazy things, but so many anti-bad luck gestures, like throwing salt if you say the same word as someone else. That's different than here. Do you have that?
I was gonna say, I mean, that's more of like a jinx. If you say the same word, jinx.
Yeah,
jinx,
sure.
You owe me a Coke. But then throwing the salt is more like when you spill it.
Yeah.
That's the, yes.
I wonder
and
if
I feel like
spilling the salt, why that's bad luck. Like why you need to do something about that. Let's find that out.
Let's investigate, shall we?
Our dog is demanding attention right now, so there's a ruckus in the background. Just know that everything's fine. Touching wood, that for us is iron. Really? So touching iron instead of wood. A couple of things I don't believe my English is not good enough to describe. Well, thank you for sharing that anyway. That's really interesting. Cults of the Roman Empire. Classic, the Romans to blame. That's my Roman Empire, is blaming men for all of my problems. That's me. That's my Roman Empire.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, throwing salt over the shoulder, warding off evil. Spilling salt was historically considered a waste of valuable resources and therefore a bad omen.
So the solution is to throw more of it? That don't
maybe you pick up that which you spilled as opposed to when we just take more and we throw it. It's always the left shoulder. It's actually so pervasive that, like, I don't know if you've ever watched, like, Rachel Ray, like 30-minute meals with Rachel Ray, but she has, like, a whole ass cooking show, and if she spills the salt, you would see her throw it over her shoulder, like, and just, like, in the middle of cooking, you just go, whoop, and you, like, blink and you miss it, but it's really funny.
What if DB says you throw salt because it's supposed to ward off demons? It was dirty once spilled anyway, says Repeats. I mean, I suppose it just all seems very counterintuitive. Like, even if we do believe, like, oh, that's really unlucky to waste that resource, sure, I'll jump on board for that. But how? It's got to have something to do with left hand evil stuff. Like, that's got to be something about the left shoulder, right? I believe it to blind the demon following you on your left hand side. That's so metal. I hope that's it.
Okay, let's go. Why do we
Basically
throw?
Saying money is not important, hence removing the bad influence of the bad entities. Yeah, the left side is the demonic side. Okay, that's a very Christian-centric take, I think. I don't know about, like, other religions, but I think the Abrahamic religions, at the very least, say something about left hand versus right hand. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you're not supposed to eat with your left hand in Islam because it's haram.
No.
Right?
Yeah, so it's actually really... So, I mean, Christianity, like, my aunt, who's not that old, she's in her, like, late 50s now, was actually, is, like, a little bit ambidextrous because she was still of the generation where they were teaching you not to write with your left hand because it's considered, like, of the devil or whatever, or just, like, so bad. And then my sister, who is left-handed, my dad, for a short amount of time, did try to, because, listen, don't get me started, but he did try to teach her to, like, eat with her right hand because, as I've said, I was raised Muslim. So, yeah, just, like, really...
Isn't there something in Muslim culture, though, about writing with one hand because you write from the right to the left, so to not smudge, proportionally more Muslim people are left-handed?
I have never heard that. I've never experienced
not backed
that
by
either.
anything other than the time that I wasted part of my life dating a certain man.
A man of...
Well, and that wasn't why it was a waste of time to date him, just to be very clear. That had nothing to do with it. But
yeah, I mean, it's not... No, it's like there's a whole cleanliness thing because you're supposed to actually wipe your ass with your left hand in some culture. So, like, but it's... I guess you're right. Like, conceptually, it would actually make more, because it is written and read from right to left as opposed to left to right. It actually probably would make more sense to do it left-handed. You're not wrong. But, you know, practicality rarely plays a role in these kinds of things.
Oh, the Christian church. Heretic. You guys. Yeah, I mean, it's all of the thing about, like, the psychology of this sort of stuff is it's really hard to actually study where these things come from, but it isn't hard to study the effects. You guys are not talking about wiping your ass in this chat right now. I'm trying to be a scholar right now.
I'm trying to focus on what Photo Piadini is, like, clearly contributing to our chat, which is, like, Christian Church did consider poorly pretty much everything. That's 100%. Everybody, I mean, Catholic guilt had to come from somewhere.
PhD
and
in Byzantine.
PhD in Byzantine history. That's pretty sick, honestly. That's really
Listen,
cool.
in here we celebrate degrees. So congratulations for you having that degree, sir.
If you have a PhD, you can tell us without guilt because we will flex ours.
It's a pretty huge deal to have a PhD, am I right?
Yes. I have a whole ass t-shirt that says that. That's really cool.
Pretty huge dog. Pretty happy dude. Let's go. I love that. I could keep going. What's an ass t-shirt? You're going to get timed out of chat here pretty soon, DB. No, DB is a mod, so that can't happen, just for clarity here. So, okay, to be back in the science world, studying these sorts of things is a little bit easier when you conceptualize it as whether or not things like manifesting, and like, to use something that's a little bit more recent and TikTok friendly, there's something called lucky girl syndrome. So
hit me with it.
Very privileged, pretty, TikTok girlies.
Oh, so you mean like we're talking like Britney Spears' lucky girl? Like, actually,
she's so lucky she's a star.
She's so lucky. She's exactly. Yeah.
She cries.
Her loneliness.
It's killing her. I'm so sorry. Please don't leave our chat. Please don't stop following. Don't unfollow because I make terrible Britney Spears jokes. I'm about to lose a future husband here over my Britney Spears.
He's sick of your shit. Like, how do you feel?
You've had to put up with my shit longer than he has, so I don't. You guys are all in too deep. Sunk cost fallacy. Attention on that bad boy.
It's never too late to cut off a meaningful relationship of X number of years. Sunk cost, bitch.
Oh, stop it right now. My face hurts. Oh, I love you so fucking much. I'm never going to approach explaining the studies that I'm talking about. It's not like we're British. Wait, why British?
I'm not really sure what that.
Maybe he's making a joke about my British lab mate. Not Oakley, the other one.
Oh, maybe they're emotionally disconnected. Is that
no? He's now confirmed that he was making a reference to my former British lab mate, not the most recent one. Before that.
Got it. Sorry, I'm just looking at any more interesting stuff that I mean, I feel like it was kind of brought up, I think, by Get a Grip very briefly, but I think it's difficult to study these things because and some of these phenomena occur in a lab and you can publish a secondary paper on them, especially if you're looking at animal stuff. But, to sort of bring things back to a political perspective, because why not? Everything's political these days. Studying these things for their own benefit is rare. It's rarely useful, I think, is useful with a disclaimer on it, right? So much research has to have a universal application. It has to have a grander, more benefit for the greater good, essentially, right? So it's difficult to study something that's more philosophical or just out of pure interest, especially in the US with the current administration, where they're actively trying to cut funding to things and make them seem more absurdist than they actually are, right? So often these things will be within the context of a larger study if we're talking about superstitious pigeons, or no one's wasting.
He gave at it was the State of the Union, I want to say, that Trump was talking about transgender rats and mice, and what he almost certainly read was transgenic, which means transgene, which means that we've edited certain genetic parts of their genetic code to make it so maybe they don't express this certain receptor that we think is involved in, I don't know, heart disease or depression or whatever the fuck. But the point is, these are extremely valuable animal models, and this man just saw trans and was like, nah, no, I'm not good with it. It's all transgender and it's all evil, which is so preposterous. But like, that's how easy it is to have people that are outside of science miscontextualize science. And it makes me want to flip a table and launch myself into the sun. So
They're putting transgender chemicals in the water.
Yeah.
They're turning the frogs trans. The children. Yeah. No, so Photo Piadini said, I'm scared to come to the U.S. because the current administration, I had to stop my visit. All the states run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like, not super great for, like, immigrants. I feel like tourists are still, like, it's fine. Especially if you're coming from a country that's, like, European, you're probably
Western
fine.
European specifically, though. Well, actually, he's probably pretty chummy with the Eastern Europeans, as far as we know.
But I mean, yeah, it's definitely, have obviously been some incidents that I would also be scared. I'm scared living here, so there's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we both previously were living in peaceful old Canada. In the French part, to boot, but you know, decided to make our lives slightly harder in a lot of ways, but also easier in some ways. But
yeah. The particular minority seats get, the 2024 debates. Anyways.
Yeah. So one of the studies that I found that was actually like somewhat decent, I actually found it from a New Scientist, which is like a pop science piece of media. It's like a magazine. Actually, our old supervisor was in it one time, which is pretty cool. I was reading about it, and it's to do with kind of like the phenomena of manifestation, and you know, the secret is what Oprah called it a couple of years ago, which is basically if you say something and have these positive beliefs, like say, I'm always moving towards my goal, or I am, you know, lucky, is the lucky girl syndrome thing. You would have like, you know, a TikTok trendy person be like, lucky girl syndrome totally works. I just tell myself every day I'm so lucky, and then good things start happening to me. And it's at the surface as preposterous as it sounds, and as kind of contrived as it sounds. But it turns out if you get people to write a short passage about, there's several groups here, but the main two that are important are a control group that we're told to describe the living room of your childhood home, or one of them, or something very kind of benign. And then another time, group was told to write a story about a time that they overcame some sort of adversity or succeeded because of their own effort. And these people were tested pre and post this intervention was the writing. That was the independent variable, if you will, between the two groups. What they found was the performance of the group that did this kind of wrote about the time that they overcame something, performed better on tasks like memory, mathematics, and I can't remember all of the particulars, and again, I don't have my notes open. But the phenomena was basically that kind of positive visualization, particularly as it pertains to you, the person, is pretty good. And they suspect that it goes back to this internal locus of control, because there was, I believe, and again, I'm going to grain of salt this because I don't have it right in front of me, but they also had a group, I think, that either wrote something about like them having magical powers, like being a superhero or something like that, or a time that Batman overcame adversity or you know, did something out of their own effort. So it wasn't just positive visualization generically, it was specifically positive visualization of your own self-efficacy was able to show tangible positive results in a scientific setting.
So that totally makes sense to me. So I have something to add to that. So there was a study very similar, but like if we're going back to like luck and superstition, they essentially had two groups where they said you have a lucky pen and you don't have a lucky pen.
Yes.
And lucky pen performed better. But I agree. I think it's like, as you're saying, it's this like maybe more subconscious, but like self-visualization of success.
Absolutely.
And what a DB makes a really great point in that this, like the power poses is something that people do, right? And this goes back to that primacy fact, like priming yourself before go. So it's like if you guys aren't familiar, this was like a very popular TED Talk. I feel like every freaking psychology class I was in for a while, like was talking about this, where you essentially can, I think it was
like
like
Superman pose.
Yes, like you I think it was aimed primarily at women. I might be wrong about that. And you put your hands on
Grey's
your hip.
Anatomy. Stop it. Get out of town. I don't like that. Good old Mussolini. We did invent it. We really should know better. Oh my gosh. Photo Pierini. Hilarious. Coming in with straight hilarity. First stream appearance. I love that. Please come back.
Yes, I know, seriously.
That makes it an offense to critique a particular contru. I don't know what a contru is. Why am I pronouncing it French? Oh, country.
A country?
I was like, what's a country? I don't know. I thought maybe I was just rolling with the fact that it might be Italian and I don't know what I'm talking about. Not that it was a typo. So that's all me. That's my bad. It's a bad luck day for little old Alicia. Wait, yeah. Yeah.
I'm screaming. That's really a contru.
I say it French accent to the Italian guy. I zhuzh up the typo. Like, that's what you can find here.
Au contru, mon fru.
No, leave. Stream's over. We peaked. Contru, mon fru. I hate you so much. We invented lighting guns in schools and we don't know better. No French, please. Oh god, it gives me rash.
Photo Piadini, you are gold here. So as I said, me and Alicia previously lived in Montreal, Quebec, and we are very much Anglophones. And so,
can't you tell?
Yeah, I wish I could have a T-shirt that says "No French, please." Gives me rash.
Hi, hello, bonjour, hi.
Fuck. Yeah. Hi, bonjour. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's the one major study that I thought was the most compelling for these sorts of things. And then, like you said, the Lucky Pen study. There was one that was golf balls too. Like they had people do midi putt and gave some of them just a ball and were like, here's your ball for the day. And some of them they gave the ball and was like, oh, this one's been lucky today. And the ones that got the lucky ball just straight up performed better, like statistically significantly better.
Yeah, okay.
And so I guess, but that says a lot less about luck and a lot more about the power of suggestion, right? Like it's just something, the power of the mind, if you will, to be a little bit kind of like zhuzhy about it. But yeah.
So I'm just...
Not only worse than the French people that decided to be French. They had a different option and they went with French. I'm part French. I can't be saying this stuff. I'm going to get disowned. My middle name is Solange. Oh, I shouldn't be saying that. That's part of my government.
You really shouldn't say that.
Oopie. Sorry, guys. Redacted.
No, so I actually, yeah. So one of the things that is like similar to what you were saying was that also like the more stressful the condition, the more like suggestible people were. Like the more likely people are to believe in like superstitions within like an experimental context as well. Yeah. So I think that really plays back into like the cultural context that we're in is like, absolutely, we are living in a high stress time and people want to believe in like, I would love to have some magical thinking on my day-to-day. Obviously, I'm a very highly skeptical, a little bit nihilistic scientist, so it's a little bit difficult to do that. But like some magical thinking on the day-to-day, like a little bit of like joyous superstition, I would love to like have that in my life on a daily basis.
Yeah. North Americans can have a little magical thinking as a treat.
Right? Yes, just for me.
Yeah, for me. Hating the French is a moral obligation as both European and Italian. As Granddad used to say, France is beautiful. Sadly, it's full of French people. It is, and we appreciate you for it. I mean, I do like France. It's pretty nice there.
Never been. Only been to Italy.
Yeah, Italy was pretty nice too. I only got to go to Rome, which is kind of a buzzkill, but not that Rome's bad, but it's just a buzzkill to only be able to go there. And it was also searing hot. It was the hottest I've ever experienced in my entire existence. I did not care for it. But
I mean, I feel like it's climate wise very like Mediterranean is like
yeah, but I had
the
been
U.S.
to Greece
in the
before and
summer.
it weren't like that. Like, I think it's because it's it's a city, right? Like, I mean, if you're on the beach in Italy, it's, you know, going to be just less hot than, yeah. Bonjour. Bonjour. Yeah. So I think that kind of covers most of my
I know. I feel like I've like
stuff.
talked as much about this as I possibly can. I'm like wondering if there's anything more. I mean, I feel like you are. I would say that your expertise is addiction. Is there any more commentary on like gambling addiction and how it differs from other types of like addiction that's like relevant to this conversation?
You know what? We should have my friend Tristan on. He just opened his lab at Simon Fraser University. So maybe one day we'll have him on to tell us all about rat gambling and stuff like that. He doesn't do that in his new lab, I don't think, but, or maybe not a lot, but he did do his PhD in a lab that did. But what we know about gambling addiction has a lot to do with what we know about addiction in general, which is that the cues that are related to the thing, so this is sights, sounds, people, environment, smells, you name it, that are associated with your drug or behavior of choice, that you may or may not be, having addictive relation to. So in the case of gambling, it's the smell of the casino, the sounds, the lights, the, kind of stimuli that come in. And we call these cues and sometimes incentive cues. But basically what happens is when a reward happens, so in the case of gambling, it's a payout. Let's just use slot machine for an example. You get this payout and you have this dopamine spike, and your brain is a pattern finding machine, essentially. So what your brain is doing in that moment is associating that resource gain or that reward with everything around it, so that if it wants more of that reward, it can go to its little file of facts and be like, okay, when did we most get this reward? Okay, at work, that's one way to get that reward, but this was a low effort way to get bigger rewards. So this is where the reward prediction error camp of people would come in and say bigger than expected reward for small effort will yield a bigger dopamine spike, thus make that behavior more rewarded. And so what they tend to study in this kind of arena is how much each of the types of cues are activating certain parts of the brain, how much turning them on or off, or their frequency or pairing with one another, whether or not having the sound and the lights and a smell are more than the sum of their parts, or if they're just additive to each other.
So like the relevance of different cues and stuff like that.
Yeah, and whether or not you can extinguish that, whether or not you can, so like a rat would respond for their version of a payout from the rat gambling task, which usually is food. Sometimes you could do it with drugs, but most of the time it's food. And you can see whether or not that behavior will persist in a certain group of rats that say were transgenically bred to not have a certain dopamine receptor, or to have something, aberrant in a different part of their brain from a control rat. And then if we found, okay, those rats persist even when they stop getting the reward, you might say that that rat is more addiction prone in the context of gambling addiction, whereas the control rats, they gave up and learned pretty quickly this behavior no longer begets this reward. But I wager one cheddar and one Ashiako.
I know, I was just thinking about like what I'm like, now you're like the rat gambling addiction. I'm just imagining like Vegas on like a mouse on a mouse on a rat size, like a rodent scale, and just like different like sexy lady, but it's like a rat, like neon sign that like changes.
A picture. I'll see if I can find a picture and direct you to it.
I literally searched sexy rat neon sign to see if I could find anything that was relevant,
sorry, I was talking about the actual rat gambling task, but I like where you're going.
Yes.
A lot better. So it's in a chamber that they use for something called a 5-choice serial reaction time task, which you do not need to know for any reason whatsoever at this point. I could explain it, but honestly, it's quite dry and no one cares, except for scientists. Yeah, it's in this little chamber where there's a whole bunch of lights, and on the other side of it, there's a little food delivery port. And they'll associate certain patterns of lights or, you know, a certain sound with a certain pattern of lights and see how much the rat will then go to the trough where they expect the food. If there's a manipulanda, which again we described earlier, something like a nose poke port where the breaking of a little beam will send a message to a computer, deliver the treat, or a lever, whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of different things there, but... on the subject of cheese, what would you call the last slice of provolone? You're welcome here. This is the place for you. Provolone. Ratatouille goes to Vegas. I would watch that. I would watch the shit out of that.
Sorry, one thing I clocked. I think you're aging yourself when you use the word Filofax, babe.
I never even used one.
What the fuck is a Filofax?
Like a Rolodex.
It's like a little, like the thing you
like I don't know, an office space or, you know, one of those like kind of older office-based workplace films. There would be like a little thing where they put business cards in alphabetically, kind of like an address book, but instead of being a book that you have to flap open, it's a little circular phone book.
You know where I actually have seen this, because 27 Dresses, she has one of these bad. That's it. That's the only cultural reference I have for that is Katherine Heigl in the back of a taxi.
I like that.
Changing her dress. Yeah.
I will continue to call it provolone cheese, and I work in restaurants, so I say it lots. Provolone.
Screaming provolone.
Don't have to the name of the cheese. There's nothing else to call provolone.
I know. Just.
I mean, American cheese isn't actually cheese. Oh dear. We've devolved into cheese.
Yeah. These cheese buns. Did you guys hear that there was an explosion at a French cheese factory? There was debris everywhere. But
Nope.
This is your partner.
Yes.
This is your choice of life partner.
Rat gambling. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. I don't study it, but it does get studied, and it exists, and it's real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to use some tools. This is close enough. I was gonna say, this is like a sign that they need to have.
Welcome in, Better Off Ted. Thank you for the anniversary.
This is the closest thing I could find to a sexy rat neon sign for.
See this. I need to see this.
Rat. I said shared it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to switch from one to the other. Okay, yeah. So I love that Ratfink is the first thing that shows up. That's hysterical.
Yes, that was all of it at the beginning. Yeah, it's crazy. But this is the closest thing I could find.
Slutty rat lady? Oh.
Like what?
A naked rat. I like that. That's great.
This is it. It's giving aerial hoops. It's giving, we just have booty.
Oh, I like this one with the glasses and the martini. That's nice.
That's a French bulldog.
That's not, you're that's correct. You're correct.
That is correct. Yeah. For Rat Vegas, when they do more rat gambling addiction studies, this is all I can, it's the only thing in my head while I'm watching that, so thinking about that. Okay, Mademoiselle Neuralicia. I feel like we're come to a pretty good resting place.
Pretty good natural end. Should we see if there's a raid target out there?
I think yes. I think
please stick around if you don't mind, folks, for the raid. We're gonna go check out someone that we endorse's stream, which there are many of. Science is on. Nerduino's on.
Yeah, Science. Do you follow Nerduino as well?
I do follow Nerduino. They're a computer scientist, as their name suggests. I don't know particularly, they're also saying Happy St. Patrick's Day. Looks like
that might
they're
be fun.
talking. It just says Happy St. Patrick's Day, talking about famous Irish something. Yeah, that might be cool. We could definitely pop into Nerduinos.
Keep nice and themed. That's fun.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. /raid, right? Not.
That's right. Yeah, and Science isn't actually on. Their stream doesn't start for another 6 minutes, so
I see.
We'll definitely go with Nerduino. I don't know if Nerduino will remember me, but maybe. Oh, thank you for the follower, whoever that was. Oh, Photo. Thank you, Photo Piedini.
Thank you.
You're very welcome here, and love the energy. So thank you for getting here.
Yes, we appreciate your presence. We loved all of the takes. It was really fun. Okay, guys, I literally ask this every time. It's just /raid and then the name, their name, right? There's not at anything.
I don't think so. Oh, I can't do it in here. Yeah, every single time. It used to be easier to do. I just need to make sure that I'm spelling Nerduino right. Yeah. Come twitch.tv.
I can't do it in yours because you are.
Hey, that's not good.
Okay. I'm going to click it into his stream so that
Get me off the wall. Come on, Miss Adventures.
Nerduino. Okay.
Okie dokie, then.
Stick around for the raid, guys. Thank you guys for being here once again. This has been Vulgar Science with Layla Shode.
And Neuralicia. Good luck out there, folks.
Yes. That was great. Good luck.
Love it. Good luck. Catch you on the flip side. I'm rating now. Bye.
Yeah.